voice of UConn sports, men's basketball and men's football and baseball, Mike Crispino.
Kurt says, hold on. He's getting Mike back on the phone. We lost him. Come back.
The only thing harder to do than interview Mike is get him on the phone to interview him.
There's a lot of things going on in men's basketball, right? And by the way, I was at one of my new favorite sports book establishments this afternoon. Just getting some lunch.
The one at the XL?
I was watching.
They have lunch there?
They got it all there.
Oh, I'm going to have to join you for lunch there then.
The other thing that they have is a beautiful window to overlook anything that's going on in the XL. And they put the hardwood down for men's basketball. And Alex Caravan was having a one-on-one session just doing some shooting drills. I watched Caravan shoot for like 20 minutes today. It was a lot of fun. Dude doesn't miss much.
No.
He's looking good. He's looking really good. But I'm assuming they're having a practice, a walk around as we're about to start men's basketball, man.
Nice.
It's right around the corner. But, yes, I was hanging out with Mike, Wayne, John, Adam, Bob, everybody in the press box there at Boston College. Hot day. And a tough one to watch. We get them? All right. Mike's on the phone.
Crispino, how are you?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Not much. Tell us about UConn football versus Boston College over the weekend. What did you see?
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, Boston College controlled the game on offense. They had the ball for 83 plays. UConn only had it for 43.
Golly.
And they were able to convert on third down 10 out of 16 times. So that was really the issue. UConn's defense was on the field too long. And, guys get fatigued. I think the second touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, that BC scored, I just thought the defense was sagging a little bit from being on the field too much. So, again, another one-score game. The offense for the Huskies, wasn't anything special on the ground or in the air. And I think, there's a team averaging about 20 points a game. And in today's college football, you're not going to win a lot unless you get into the high 20s, and score 30. BC's been averaging about 30 points a game, giving up about 30. So their defense, the Eagles had a good day that day, and they were able to control UConn's running game. And Taquan Roberson didn't have a great day. He's been improving week to week. He's been pretty good, but he did not have a great day. His receivers dropped a couple balls early. And I did like what UConn did in the second half, though. They started throwing the ball down the field. And that, I thought, loosened things up. And I think they need to do more of that. But, I just feel like this offense, if it gets on track like it did against Rice and scored 38, they got a chance against anybody. And they got 4 games left, right? Tennessee, that's going to be tough. They're 19th in the country, and they are very good.
Yep.
So that's what's up ahead next week. But those last 3, I think anything could happen there, and they could finish on a high note. I think that'd be a positive for Jim Moore and the staff going into next year.
It's crazy. Dibs was running off the schedule at the beginning of the show of just how many ball games we've been in. And he's so right. Like, we've had chances to win these ball games all over the place. And again, it's a play here, a play there that just UConn's offense isn't making. UConn's defense sags, like you were saying, for just that instance, and then they give up a big score. You got any news on Victor Rosa? I remember seeing him on the sideline, ready to go, dressed. Looked like he was itching on the sideline to get into the ear of Norm Charlton did I just call him Norm Charlton again?
You did.
The offensive coordinator. Not Dibbles. Nick Charlton, thank you. Not Dibbles' friend from the Reds. That'd be awesome if he was calling plays.
Yeah, really.
But you got any news on Victor Rosa? Cam Edwards has been doing a fabulous job for a backup cornerback to step in and play running back like he has in the last few weeks. Fantastic. But I'd love to see number 22 out there.
Yeah, well, Cam Edwards is a natural. I think that's what I've learned watching him run the ball the last few weeks. And I've said it on the air. You were sitting there. We were watching him. He picks his spots. He's got a nice feel for the tempo of the offensive line blocking, and he'll hesitate a little bit to get to a hole. Then when it opens, he gets through the crack and gains yardage. So Cam Edwards has been a revelation, I think. Victor Rosa was supposed to play this past week. Jim said so on Thursday when we recorded the pregame thing. And I think when he got out and started warming up, he probably felt some pain in his ankle. And one thing about Jim Moore, he's not going to put a guy out there if there's a threat that he could get injured just by being out there, especially running backs. who are, targets, obviously, of these monster linebackers and defensive linemen and safeties that come up to plug holes. If you can't protect yourself or you can't avoid being hit square on, you're going to get hurt. And I think he held them out because of that. And Edwards had a pretty good day. But, again, you got to score. You scored 2 touchdowns, and it's not enough. You held the team to 21 points. You held them below their average, but it just wasn't enough.
I'm sure you've heard the news that Cooper Flagg, you call men's basketball for UConn national championship team, and how was that news been taken by the staff right now at UConn?
Well, I think Dan Hurley felt good about the visit that he had. He has had a good relationship with Donovan Clingan. Cooper Flagg did. The two mothers. Klingen's mother, who's no longer with us, and Cooper Flagg's mother played basketball together at Maine. So I think that was a real positive. The one thing I thought as this process went on is Kevin Boyle coaches down at Montverde down there in Florida. He was a New Jersey high school coach and a really good one. And he met Bob Hurley Sr. often for the New Jersey State Championships over the years. And I felt like, and I did a couple of those games for MSG because we used to televise them. I think there was no love lost there between the two. So I'm thinking to myself as this process is going on, well, Kevin Boyle is not going to give Dan Hurley a ringing endorsement, tell Cooper Flagg, you got to go play for Dan Hurley. I think he kind of stayed out of it a little bit, and Flagg seemed to be leaning towards Duke the whole way. And now he's headed there. I mean, it'll be one and done. He'll be in the NBA quickly.
Yep. And
he'll be a pretty good player in the NBA. So, you can't win them all, and Dan knows that. But I'll tell you what, to be in the running for guys like that year in and year out, that really bodes well for UConn Husky basketball.
They got Ahmad Noel coming next year, Isaiah Abram. These are 2 4-star guys. Ahmad, a point guard out of Philly, and Abram from Fairfax, Virginia, that just churns out great talent. But we've got 5 really great freshmen coming in. Leading the way is Stephon Castle. I can't wait till everyone gets their eyes on this kid. You got your eyes on the whole team here last week when you were doing the Coach Hurley show from the sideline in the blue-white scrimmage. What'd you think, man? You had Solomon Ball, Solo Ball as we're going to be calling him, Jaden Ross, Jalen Stewart, Stephon Castle. I don't know if Yusef Singare got on the floor or not, but what did you think of the newcomers, the freshmen? Leave Cam Spencer out of this. I know we're going to be talking a lot about the transfer from Rutgers. Everybody loves watching this kid shoot. But those youngsters, Castle, Ball, Ross, Stewart, and Singare, what did you think of those guys?
Well, I think they're going to be great. I don't know when they'll be great. Castle's 6'6". I stood next to him. He's legit size for a college guard and a guy that has the ball in his hands a lot. So he'll be a better passer than a lot of people think. He also shot some mid-range jumpers and knocked them down, which I was happy to see because we don't know much about him as a shooter because he's really a facilitator coming in. The other guys, all smart dudes. That's what I was impressed with. Rob and Ben, when you talk to guys, you can get a feel for where they're coming from, what their background is, what their upbringing is, what they bring to the table, what kind of chemistry they believe in and teamwork. And all of those guys have a tremendous feeling when you talk to them. Solo Ball is just enthusiastic as heck. He's got all kinds of guts. Stewart, they call him Stewie. That's his nickname.
What?
He is. He's got some. Yeah, that's his nickname.
We already have one of those.
I know, exactly. That's what we said on the air, too. And Ross, Jay Ross, they call him, he's got length, man. He looks like he's a legit NBA prospect right now. So if their confidence is high as they get into these early games,
yeah.
And I know Dan Hurley and the staff will coach them up. We know that. They look good in their offensive, look to what they were doing in the scrimmage. I think they're going to be pretty comfortable in the system that he runs. I have a lot of high hopes for this team. I don't know what'll happen, but I love what they've got, and it's going to be hard to replace Andre Jackson, obviously, and Hawkins, who could shoot lights out and it could win you a game. And Sanogo is already playing for the Bulls, for crying out loud. So yeah, you're missing these guys. You're not going to replace them right away, but I do believe that this crew that Dan Hurley put together is going to surprise some people. I think they're going to overachieve. I have a lot of high hopes for them.
Talking to Mike Crispino, calls UConn men's football and basketball for University of Connecticut. And I wanted to ask you about the Knicks, your former job. You did it for many, many years, decades even. And they're off to a 1-2 start. But the one thing about Tom Thibodeau is supposed to be the defense. The defense is lacking right now. They're giving up 108 points a game. They're scoring less than 106. Your thoughts 3 games into the season?
Well, it's real early. Tom's teams, for some reason, Rob, I don't know why, they start a little slow, and then they get better as the year goes on. I'm not sure exactly what that is. A little bit of it, I think, is they're in great condition, and as other guys wear down in January, February, Thibodeau's teams always maintain a certain level of quality, you know. So, yeah, they lost the Celtic game. I think that one got away at home. Porzingis shot him out of the gym, which hurt. Then they took out Atlanta. I know he's not happy. You can't give up 108. You got to get it down near 100 if you got a chance to win, 50 games, let's say. And a lot of people think the Knicks have a chance to do that with the additions they made. Dante DiVincenzo, it fits in really well, and Josh Hart is a quality guy. We saw him for half a year last year. So they got to get off to a good start, I think, because Milwaukee's really good. We know that. Boston's really good. So you don't want to fall deep into the rut back there behind all these guys and then have to climb your way back up into playoff contention as the season goes on. But I think they're going to be good. I love the way it looks like they got better 3-point shooting, I hope, because you got to have that in the NBA today. If you can't shoot from outside, and you can't make a high percentage, and you can't shoot 50 of them, it's hard to win, especially on the road against these, the teams like the Warriors and the Suns and teams like that who are going to score a bunch of points. You got to score. So I think the Knicks are better in those categories. It remains to be seen. I mean, we all jump off the bridge, a few games in because we're excited the NBA's back. But they say in the league, and I was in there for a bunch of years, you really don't know what you got for a team until about 20 games in. Look at the thing at about 20 games in, and then you know what you have, and then see what you can build from there on those last 60 games. So we'll give them another few weeks, but I feel good about the Knicks. I think they're going to have a good year.
Speaking of three-point shooting in the NBA, I had a sense of deja vu this weekend when I heard a rumor out of UConn men's basketball practice. Heard this last year about Adama Sanogo. He was shooting threes, and all of a sudden, throughout the season, he was like shooting at least 5 threes a game. And it ended up becoming somewhat of a 40% three-point shooter. And that was just to get him some looks from NBA scouts. Obviously, it did come to play and was effective sometimes when we really did need a bucket from the outside, and he was given a 5-foot cushion. But it did, get people thinking, like, this guy can't shoot in the outside in the league. I heard this weekend they're doing the same thing with Mr. Donovan Clingan. Big old 8-foot center that we got there that's going to be blocking everybody's shot. You're telling me, Mike, is this true that he is going to be spotting up behind the arc and shooting threes in games for UConn?
No question. I've been watching him last year in warm-up before games. He shoots it effortlessly from there. It's not a big deal for him. And he's got a nice delivery, too. His job wasn't to do that last year. But I agree with you. Sanogo making 1 or 2 a game, boy, that broke some games open last year for UConn, and that opened up things for other people. Yep. I think Clingan's going to get his chances out there, and I think Dan Hurley understands that because the kid can shoot it. It might not happen in November, but I would like to see him take a couple of games, especially if they leave him alone out there.
Yep.
Make a three, draw the defense out there, and that opens up so much for everything else that's going on with their offense. So I have a lot of confidence in Clingan. He has a great delivery. Good shooters let it go high. He lets it go high, and we know he's 7'2", 7'3". Nobody's blocking that thing.
Right. No.
So, boy, what a weapon that would be. If you got him out there making a couple in a game, that would really change everything for the Huskies.
Mike Crispino, always a pleasure to have you on, sir. Thank you so much. Any picks for the World Series, buddy?
Oh, man. The Diamondbacks keep defying logic. Come on, let's face it. They barely got in. They shouldn't even be in. They might win this thing now. I mean, splitting in Texas was huge. They just have the kind of look of a team that finds a way, and they are so loose, Rob.
Yep.
you play loose in baseball and you're playing, great baseball, you got a real good chance to win. So let's see what happens, but I like them to win it now.
And Ben always teaches me about playing with house money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes it easier to gamble.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Best money to play with.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, Crispy. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys. Be well.
All right. That's Mike Crispino, everybody. You hear him. He's the voice of UConn sports. Dibbles and Bits is next.